Alright guys, welcome. Chapter 1, Lesson 1, Rates. It's our first video, so feel free to stop at any time if we're going too fast. And we're going to get started. Every lesson gets started with some vocab, so we'll start with that first. Our first vocab word is rate, which is a ratio that compares two quantities with different kinds of units. So next vocab word, actually I'll give an example first. So a couple examples of a rate. You got 45 miles in 3 hours, or you've got 160 beats in 2 minutes, referring to a heartbeat. So 45 miles over 3 hours, or 160 beats in 2 minutes. If you notice, the units in each example are different. Beats over minutes, or miles over hours. All right. Our next word, unit rate. A rate that has been simplified so that it has a denominator of 1 unit. So we're going to take those examples that we just had and we're going to simplify them so that we get a unit rate with a denominator of 1 unit. So first example there where we had 45 miles over 3 hours. Simplify that down to 15 miles per 1 hour. Same with the beats. We had 160 over 2 minutes. Now we have 80 beats per 1 minute. That is now a unit rate instead of just a rate. There's a neat little table that goes along with this. They'll show you different ways to display answers. So you've got rate, which is the number of miles over an hour. And that can be described as miles per hour. You can abbreviate it as miles over hours, or MPH. And you get a name for it too, average speed. So that gives you a couple examples of different rates, unit rates, abbreviations, and names that will be used in examples in this lesson. Alright, so moving on. We got example 1 here. It's the first example in the book. So we've got Adrienne. She bikes 24 miles in 4 hours. If she biked at a constant speed, how many miles did she bike for 1 hour? So you're basically trying to figure out how many miles does she bike in 1 hour. Alright, so we're going to set it up this way. I'm going to go ahead and write it out for you. So, we got 24 miles in 4 hours. Alright, I'm going to set that up as a fraction, just like we had in the early examples of a rate and a unit rate. So that can be seen as 24 miles over 4 hours. Alright. Now, remember, to find the unit rate, we need to get the denominator to 1. So what we're going to do is divide each side both by the denominator. So we'll divide by 4. If you do one thing to the denominator, you have to do the same thing to the numerator. So we'll divide by 4. Okay? After doing that, you should be left with 6 miles, because 24 divided by 4 is 6. And that'll be over 1 mile, because 4 divided by 4 is 1, over 1 hour. And I believe I just said mile, I meant hour. So 6 miles over 1 hour. That is your unit rate, and that can also be written as 6 miles per hour. Alright, pretty simple. So there were a couple extra problems that can go along with this. I want you to find each unit rate. So the first one, you've got $300 for 6 hours. So simple step, just like we did in the last one. We'll set it up $300 over 6 hours. So just like in the last one, take the denominator and divide it by itself. Do the same thing to the numerator. That way we can get the denominator down to 1. Now, 300 divided by 6 is 50. It would be $50. 6 hours divided by 6 will leave you with 1 hour. Alright, so your answer should be $50 per hour. One more example of that. We've got 220 miles on 8 gallons. Set it up exactly the same way. 220 miles on 8 gallons. Okay? So, same exact thing. Divide by the denominator on both top and bottom. Now you can do long division by hand. Some might have a calculator. 220 divided by 8, it's going to be 27.5. So that's 27.5 miles that we have now. 8 divided by 8, you have 1 gallon. So your answer should be 27.5 miles per gallon. Pretty simple stuff. It takes us to the next example. Example 2. So it wants you to find the unit price if it costs $2 for 8 juice boxes. So you'll see in the other examples the larger number was usually on top, and this one's going to kind of do the opposite. So you're trying to find out how much it is for 1 juice box instead of all 8. Okay? So we can go ahead and write this out just like we were doing in the last problem. So you have $2 for 8 juice boxes. Alright, so we'll set that up. $2 over 8 boxes. Same thing as last time, divide by the denominator. We're always dividing by the denominator. So if you take 2 and divide it by 8, that should give you 25 cents. Or 0.25. 8 boxes divided by 8 will give you the 1 box. So now you know that 1 juice box should cost about 25 cents. Alright, so a little extra help on that. I want you to find the unit price if a 4-pack of mixed fruit sells for $2.12. So we're going to do the same thing. And put $2.12 up top. And divide it by the 4-pack. 4 packs. Divide both top and bottom by 4. And if you do that by hand or by calculator, you should get 53 cents or 0.53 per 1 pack. Alright, so 53 cents per pack, and one above it was 25 cents per box. Alright, moving on. Here's where things get a little fun. So example 3. This whole space right here. So the prices of 3 different bags of dog food are given in the table, which I have marked right here. So which size bag has the lowest price per pound, rounded to the nearest cent? So some might be confused on how to set up the fractions like we were before. Do we put the 40 pounds on top, or do we put it on the bottom? Same for price. Do we put it on the top or the bottom? All right, so it kind of gives you a little hint. So it wants to know which size bag has the lowest price per pound, per 1 pound. All right, that means it wants you to find out per pound, which means it's going on the bottom. 1 pound is what it wants you to get down to for the unit rate. So we got to find out which bag is the lowest per pound. All right, so we'll take the first one. We'll take $49. This is bag for 40. So $49.00 over the 40 pounds. All right. Now we divide by 40. Divide by 40. You should get $1.23 per pound. So bag 2, the 20-pound bag is next. So we've got $23.44 over a 20-pound bag. Okay, so when we divide by 20 on both top and bottom, you should get a price of about $1.17 per pound. So last one, we have one more bag to look at. That's the 8-pound bag for $9.88. So we got $9.88 over 8 pounds. So we'll divide both top and bottom by 8. And that should give you a price of about $1.24 per pound. So after that, we've got bag B. The 20-pound bag is going to be your best bet here. It's your lowest per pound, $1.17. All right. Last example of the day. It wants you to find a unit rate, and then it gives you a problem to go along with it. It's got Lexi painted 2 faces in 8 minutes at the craft fair. At this rate, how many faces can she paint in 40 minutes? All right. So first things first, how we're going to do this. So we've got 2 faces in 8 minutes. This is just like all the other problems we've been doing. I'm going to set that up as 2 faces in 8 minutes. So what do? We divide by 8 on both sides. So that should give you 0.25 faces per 1 minute. Per minute. I accidentally put the per there. You don't need the per. Just 1 minute. 20.25 faces in 1 minute. All right. So now that we found out that she's painting 20.25 faces in 1 minute, we got to find out how many she paints in 40 minutes at that rate. So we take our rate, which is 0.25 faces, and multiply it by 40 minutes. So we take 0.25 and multiply it by 40 faces. I'm sorry, minutes. Minutes. 0.25 is the faces. And that should give you 10 faces in 40 minutes. And that's it. So thank you for watching. You can always visit this as many times as you can. Go as slow as you need until you get it. And if you have any questions, please see me in class. Thank you.